Right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and looking forward to this vintage Corton tasting for quite some time. This kind of hijacked our vintage white tasting. We did a tasting for the last couple years. Is it worth it to collect white wines? And this year, we did 100% vintage Corton, going back to 1996. And I'll tell you, when you taste vintage white Burgundy, you really notice the great vintages, man. They stand out, and Corton, a huge Grand Cru. 2 of every 3 bottles of Grand Cru wine coming from Burgundy come from this Grand Cru. It's a Grand Cru for red as well as whites, and we're doing our red Corton casing coming up in July, I think on the 15th. All right, the 1996 Louis Latour Corton Charlemagne. Wow, killer juice, man. We showed this wine 2014 at one of our vintage white tasting, wine of the night. This wine still there. Let me tell you, a ton of fruit and a lovely richness to the texture, almost an oily character to this wine, and it just crescendos on the finish. Multi-layered butterscotch, vanilla cream notes coming out. This wine just very decadent. The wine of the night. With 4 votes for second and 9 votes for first, almost unanimously. Well, let me tell you, the other contender was the 96 Jadot, 2 of the big boys. And let me tell you, this wine also showing a lovely richness. This butterscotch, candied lemon, anise-like spice character opening up on the nose, even bigger on the second day. This wine rich and multi-layered on the tongue. Also a slightly oily texture, just wonderfully balanced as well, and just shockingly good. This wine got 3 votes for first and 4 for second, making it easily the second place finisher. Both of the 96s. Killer. If you have these wines in your cellar, open them up, man. I don't know if they're going to get any better, but they are killer right now. They'll definitely last for a little while. As will the 1999 Bonneau de Martray Corton Charlemagne, the largest landholder in Corton Charlemagne, Bonneau de Martray. And this wine's got an almost tequila-like spice to the nose, these 2009s. Showing a little austerity still. The lime Jolly Rancher candy fruit, a briny minerally note showing. Even more intense on the second day as this wine opens up, man. Still a nice amount of fruit here and a lot of structure to this wine. A firm hand of acidity and a long mineral lace finish. Excellent juice. The 2000 Bonneau de Martray, a little bit more involved here. Lots of ripe tree fruit here, white flowers, a bit of that chalky minerally nuance. Even more coming out on the second day. Lovely smoothie, creamy texture. This wine's got some tangy acidity still at the end. Very vibrant. Should last for another decade, but drinking a little better than the 99, I thought. And the 2001 Louis Latour, maybe this wine was still a little backward. I mean, it had some buttered toast notes on the nose. It took a long time for the fruit to come out, and it seemed a bit faded overall to me on the second day. This wine did get a few votes for second place, and the 2001 whites continue to surprise me. The 2002 Vincent Girardin Corton Charlemagne, the other great vintage on the table, and this wine showed it. It was the third place finisher with 3 votes for first and 3 for second. This wine had a beautiful bouquet, kind of flinty, minerally limestone character. Really strong minerality in all of these wines, but a ton of fruit left here. That peach and candied lemon, white flowers, really complex, even bigger on the second day. Just an explosion of fruit on the palate, a lovely, smooth, creamy, rich texture, and that mineral popping, lengthening finish. I'll tell you what, this is a great wine, still youthful, and the third place finisher on this evening. The 2004s didn't get much attention. I have to say, of the Vincent Girardin, the Louis Jadot, and the Bouchard was my favorite, but I don't think any of these wines even got a vote for first or second with all these other great vintages on the table. The Louis Jadot showing a lovely rich mineral lace bouquet, lemon drop candy, toasty oak, flinty minerally notes, some green herbs coming out on this wine on the second day. Very balanced, nice length on these wines, and they're not going anywhere, just like I said with 2002 and 96 on the table, completely overshadowed these wines. The Vincent Girardin, my least favorite of the 3, but just slightly. This wine had a lovely limestone minerality character here, candied lemon and red apple fruit showing a nice balance in this wine, and still nice freshness here, but you could drink these up now. I don't know if you need to keep the 2004s much longer. A classic vintage for whites. This Bouchard Corton, like I said, my favorite of the 3. A lot of that flinty, minerally character here, even stronger on the second day. Lovely balance in these 2004s, and just not as explosive with the fruit. You may want to drink your 2004s sooner rather than later. The 2006 Bonneau de Martray, on the other hand, this wine takes a day to open up. A huge wine, very complex, huge, and lovely fruit quince, licorice, smoky, flinty character. This wine gets my vote for best best, most improved on the second day. Very rich and layered, still youthful. I recommend opening up the 2006 whites a day before you serve them. This wine got 2 votes for first place. Most excellent juice. That's what we had to drink at our vintage Corton tasting. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.